Hello everyone, Amanda here from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk. I'm just jumping on to show you some really lovely gift tags that I've made. Sometimes when we're creating, it doesn't have to be a huge project, anything, you know, massive and special and a really outstanding, I don't know, mini album or a fancy box. Sometimes we can just craft for basic need and necessity, and it can be really nice to just make basic things. And this morning I've had to create some gift tags for some customers for some items that I've sold. And I made these, and I really enjoyed just some basic crafting, and I made these in no time, but I haven't skimped. I've done some watercolouring and some stamping, so these are really lovely. I'm going to show you how I've made them. So I've got 2 pieces of A4 cardstock. Obviously I've got Whisper White. I have chosen thick Whisper White, and then I've got what I think is rich raspberry. It could be blackberry blades. I think it's rich raspberry. And basically what I would advise you to do is, if you've got some cardstock that you've got a lot of, maybe you've not used the colour as much as the others, get it used up. Make some tags. Put them both together in your trimmer, and on the long side cut them into 2-inch strips. Okay, it doesn't really matter which way around you cut your 2-inch strips, whether you do it on the long side or the short side. I think you'll get the same amount of tags. Oh, that one's not cut. It normally does cut through 2 pieces pretty good. Let me just redo that. There we go. Put them back together. So, you know, it's quick and easy to do. Your trimmer blade should go through 2 pieces of cardstock pretty easily. If not, you know, some people are more protective over the blades. Obviously I get them at a discount because I'm a demonstrator, so I can use them willy-nilly. If you're a bit more protective, just do one at a time. And then we're going to cut each of the 2-inch strips into 4-inch. Okay, so 4 inches and then 4 inches. I won't do them all on camera now, but basically one of those and one of those makes a tag, and then I will finish all of these up later on. They're also great to give out. If you're a small seller of any kind, you can make these and put your details on the back and hand them out at your vendor fairs, your craft fairs, if you do classes and workshops, things like that. Let me just get that fluff out of there. Okay, so they're always a good idea. Have them in your handbag, have them ready. You know, make them for your crafty swaps, make them for your friends, and also these can give you inspiration, like little ideas of how to make cards. I mean, you could put some DSP and some card layers on a card and then attach that to the card as well, so that's another use for it. So I'm using the Tag Topper Punch, scalloped Tag Topper Punch. I love it. It is my best friend, this, because when I've got something quick to make, I grab this. Okay, so we're just punching the top of both of those. Now, I'm bringing in my stamping mat because one of the stamps that I'm going to use is photopolymer. And what I do to stop my stamp mat getting inky is I do use the grid paper. Now, this is the smaller grid paper that Stampin' Up created to go inside the Stamparatus. I'm just not a friend with the Stamparatus. I can't get on with it, I can't get used to it, but I do love the small grid paper. It's really useful. And I'm going to use the Love What You Do stamp set. Am I using that? I've got the thank you from somewhere else, and I'm using this little flower here. And my thank you comes from, is it that one? Thanks. It's that one there, in Beauty Abounds. I mean, use what you've got, but that is the main one. Love What You Do, it's called. So I get my Whisper White layer. I'm using Memento ink. I do tend to stamp on the slant, I do apologise. So I'm just going to gently ink that up with Memento. Mine's quite new and it's quite juicy, so I've got to be very careful. And just stamp that gently in the top right corner. Obviously you could use any colour you like. And then I've mounted the floral stamp on a block here. Got a bit of ink on, let me just I've been making loads of these this morning, and I'm using rich razzleberry because I do believe that is the colour of the cardstock. I do get it mixed up with, I think Blackberry Bliss is a bit darker. So I'm going to just ink that up, and I'm going to stamp to the left hand side, but so that the whole flower is on that tag. Gently press. Okay. And then we're going to bring in my petal pink, and I'm using an ink block, and I'm adding ink to the ink block. I'm going to spray it with some water. Just check that I'm in shot. Spray it with some water, and then I'm using my aqua painter. You could use a normal brush, a normal paintbrush, but the aqua painters, the benefit of these is that they hold water inside, so that brush tip is always going to be wet, and you've got a ready-made water there. You can squeeze it and add some water, so that is always wet. Whereas if you use a normal paintbrush, it's going to dry out. So it just makes your life easier. They're awesome, I love them. So I'm smooshing about on that because I want it quite watery, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really quickly just smoosh over those flowers like that. And that gives you just an instant watercolour look, okay? Now, if you want to, you can, if you're doing a batch, you just sit them aside to dry. Because I'm doing mine on camera, I'm just going to quickly flick over it with my heat tool. And the beauty is that the ink that you stamped with is water based, and so when you're adding your watery ink to that, it's going to kind of mix with the stamp as well. It's going to reactivate it slightly, but once it's dry, obviously it's not going to go any further. So there we go, and then get your next layer in, and then get some ribbon. Now this is my own personal ribbon out of my stash that I just love. You just use what you've got. If you don't have ribbon, use twine. There's loads and loads and loads of different ones that you could use. Fold it in half, and I always do mine. I go through the front to the back, lift the loop over, and then push those through. And then you get that nice knot is at the front, and I just think, personally, that's how I like it. Lift it up, trim it to the length that you want. If you're using stamping snips, be careful you don't catch your finger. I've done that a million times because the stamping snips are super sharp. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it like so, so we can see the cardstock underneath. Lift it up, tiny dot of glue, you don't even need a lot. Smooth it down, hold it, you're done. There you go. And you can create heaps of these in absolutely no time, but you're still using lovely stamps, lovely inks, and you're using a watercolour technique. So why not give it a try? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.